the Associate Provost for Global Learning at Fairleigh Dickinson. Welcome to the UN Pathways Lecture Series on the campus at Florham. I would like to thank Dr. Joanne Murphy, our new UN Program Coordinator, who has worked tirelessly with Madhu Rao, our UN Academic Liaison, and our two wonderful student assistants, Katie and Kyle, to make this and our other UN events possible. Tomorrow morning, we'll be hosting a video conference on human rights and refugees, and on March 26th, back here in this room, we will have another lecture here on the situation in Myanmar. Needless to say, we are delighted that Ambassador Kamal, instead of introducing other UN ambassadors to us, will himself take center stage to talk to us about Pakistan and its strategic importance for the United States. He has been traveling widely in Pakistan and was there, in fact, during the recent assassination of Benazir Bhutto in late December. The subject of his lecture is of grave importance to all of us at this juncture in our history. Pakistan is the only Islamic nuclear power. It is a long-standing ally of the United States, and in recent years and under President Musharraf's rule, a support to the US in its war against terror. But the political landscape in Pakistan has changed dramatically in the past few months. So we would be interested to learn from Ambassador Kamal how these changes might affect Pakistan's relationship with the US. If Musharraf becomes part of the opposition rather than in the ruling party, how will this affect the US war on terror? Pakistani groups have open alliances with some radical parties in Waziristan, where bin Laden is reputedly hiding. And in Afghanistan, what does this mean? How will the shifting political landscape affect relations with India and the vulnerable situation in the Islamic Kashmir? If the US supports the independence of an Islamic minority in Kosovo, why not in Kashmir? Ambassador Kamal served as a professional diplomat in Pakistan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs for nearly 40 years. Currently, he serves as an honorary visiting professor at several universities and conducts video conference discussions with students and faculty. In addition to serving as Pakistan's ambassador to the UN in Geneva and New York, Ambassador Kamal held diplomatic postings in Belgium, France, the Soviet Union, Saudi Arabia, and the Republic of Korea. He established Pakistan's trade with the Republic of South Korea and was Pakistan's chief negotiator in the Uruguay round negotiations, which led to the establishment of the World Trade Organization. In recent years, Ambassador Kamal has served as the chairman of the Working Group on Informatics at UN headquarters and maintains a strong interest in technology. He is, of course, the founder and president of the UN Ambassadors Club, which is a co-sponsor of these events with Fairleigh Dickinson University. Please join me in welcoming Ambassador Kamal to this podium.
Thank you very much. I'm delighted to see a large number of ladies in this audience, because day after tomorrow is International Women's Day. And so, welcome. As a person who has been a great defender of the rights of women and who's constantly impressed by their quality, even more so because I'm married to one who's made, to a woman who's made of stainless steel. And so it's a pleasure to be with you today. While driving down from Teaneck, where I had the honor of sitting in the Board of Trustees for the better part of the day today, I was wondering to myself why Dr. Elise Salem wants to hear about Pakistan. We know the four most important things about Pakistan already. One, that it is far. Two, that it is poor. Three, that it is bad news. And four, that it produces excellent ambassadors. So what does that leave us with in a speech on Pakistan? And that is why it is difficult for me to stand here, because all that needs to be said has been said in that first sentence. But let's try to justify your presence here. You've taken time out, and so I suppose you need your money's worth out of this evening. There are some facts about Pakistan which are perhaps not too generally known. The first is that it's a very large country. People don't realize it. It's 160 million people at last count yesterday. Because Pakistan is a poor country with not enough electricity, so the nights are long, and so we do produce a lot of children. And so we only know the population as of yesterday. By today, it must have gone up substantially. 160 is not a small number of people, and because it is totally different from the concept of small countries, or some of which, as you know, in the United Nations, we have 192 member states. And Pakistan is somewhere in the first 5 or 10 in terms of the total population. And so running a country of 160 million is totally different from running a country of 1 or 2 or 3 million people. And Pakistan is a country which works. And so, point number one, this is a country with a very large population, and it handles itself. Point number two, that this population of Pakistan is a very Muslim population. Pakistan is 95% Muslim. But it has a minority which is Hindu, Christian, Buddhist, and even a tiny minority of Jews. And the funny thing is that the minorities in Pakistan get along quite well with each other and with the rest of the country. It's the Muslims who don't get along with each other. And so it's very odd that you have a country in which the majority is fighting itself and the minorities are reasonably happy at the way that they are being treated. It's an unusual country because of its location. The location of Pakistan, first of all, it sits on the mouth of the Persian Gulf, which means that 2/3 of the world's oil moves in front of Pakistani ports. And that is important because it gives it great strategic significance. And that is why the quality of the relationship of Pakistan with other countries becomes important, particularly for those who consume oil. It is a country which sits on a second route also, which is a north-south route between Central Asia and the warm waters of the Arabian Sea. Central Asia, as you know, is this odd part of the world where all the countries add stan to their names. Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan, etc. So all the stans, including Afghanistan, all the stans are landlocked areas which cannot get access to warm waters except somehow by going through Pakistan. And this is again important because we are talking of an area which is critically important in the future. Kazakhstan is going to be one of the richest sources of oil in the future. It has as much oil as the Persian Gulf. Turkmenistan is one of the richest sources of natural gas. Uzbekistan produces more than 15% of the world's cotton. And so Pakistan itself, incidentally, produces 17% of the world's cotton. So if you add up all this, it means that the access of these commodities through Pakistan to the sea is something of strategic interest to all of us. It is in the third place in this location, north-south. Pakistan is the only gateway into Afghanistan. And Afghanistan, as you know, is a center of